Morning, everybody. We're going to tie up some loose ends for test 3. Here we go. Something I forgot to mention earlier that I'm mentioning now is you need to know the following strong acids and bases. Okay. It's not as difficult as you might think. These 3 are related on the periodic table, and that covers half of your strong acids. Strong acids are HA, that will completely react to give H plus to something, and the conjugate base, well, we don't need to know those words. A minus is HA without its proton. That's a proton. Okay. And a weak acid, this is not a 100% reaction. It's less than 100%, anywhere from 0 to 99. Things like acetic acid are weak acids. You've heard of that one, maybe? Maybe not. You've heard of vinegar. Acetic acid's the one that makes vinegar taste like vinegar. And it's not on the list, so we know if it's not on the list, it's a weak acid. That's going to help us with some of these. These 3 we just got to learn. They're the acids of nitrate, sulfate, and perchlorate ions. So they're all ic acids, right? Come from 8 ions. So we've got nitric acid, sulfuric acid, and perchloric acid. And yes, we've started our activities at the back bench. And it's an easy activity today. How do you know if it's an acid or a base in our list down here? Question 1. Acids start with H plus ion listed first. That's called the proton right there. So here's your acids. All of these will have A in the answer. Their H is listed first. There's some kind of acid. You see that? If it's on the list upstairs, it's a strong acid. So the only one I see up there of those 4 is HClO4. Strong acid. If you're not a strong acid and you're an acid, guess what kind of acid you are? There are 2 types of acid, everybody. Strong and weak. If you're not a strong acid, which type are you? Weak. So these ones we identified as acids because they had proton listed first are weak because they're not on our list of 6. All right, the base story, pretty simple. All of the strong bases have hydroxide in them, but not all hydroxides are strong bases. Wow, that's weird. Lithium, sodium, potassium, that's the first 3 in column 1 on the periodic table. Barium, calcium, strontium, that's towards the bottom of column 2. So that's going to help you remember those. Anything else with hydroxide in it is a base, but it's not a strong base. So we've got an example with NaOH over here. That's a strong base. Means it reacts completely. Strong base. Strong base. We got a generic strong base, usually has a metal in front with OH. %, reaction if you're a strong base. If it's less than 100%, you're a weak base. So I got my strong base. How do you know this one's a base? Over here. That's OH in it. If you have OH in it, you're going to be a base. You're not on my list of strong bases. Guess what kind of base you are? Weak base. And there's one that we didn't do, but I want you to learn because it's a common household item right in the middle there, D. Do you know which item that is in your house? Right there? NH3? We haven't learned NH3 yet? We're learning it now. We need to know that's ammonia. Found in Windex. You ever got Windex on your hand and did this? It's slippery. That's a characteristic of bases. They're slippery. Okay? Soap. Soap is very slippery, right? Well, that's because soap is a weak base. Yeah? And ammonia, you got to learn, is a weak base too. It's just a fact you have to learn. It's not a hydroxide-containing base, but it's a base nonetheless. So we couldn't use our table for that one. We just had to learn ammonia. I'm probably going to put ammonia on your test just to see who was paying attention today. And there we go. Easy activity.